Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Grapes just coming at you for the 7th grade team. We're just going to review inequalities really quickly. I'm just going to kind of make it a little bit more difficult because the equations one was easy just to kind of get your brain going again. You solve inequalities with the same steps you do in equations with a few differences. So I'm just going to start off with something fairly basic. So once again, if you have 4x minus 2 is less than or equal to 14. Same exact situation. You want to get rid of the negative 2 first. Your constant. The opposite of a negative is a positive. Whatever you do on that side, you do on the other. This cancels. Then you get 4x is less than or equal to 16. Okay? Finally, you are going to, the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. Whatever you do on that side, you do on the other. This cancels, leaving you x is less than or equal to 4. The one thing I do want to concentrate on is there's two ways to write your answers. So let's just go up here really quickly. Your solution can be x is less than or equal to 4, or you can write it 4 is greater than or equal to x. So if you ever see it where they're asking you select all that apply, make sure that if they have the same thing written in its opposite form, okay, that is also a solution. Okay, if you were to graph this, you would just have the 0. You're always going to graph it. I always like my variable on the left. So x is less than or equal to, so I'm going to go ahead over to 4. Since you have half of an equal sign there, if you guys can see it there, sorry, that would include 4 in the solution set, and x would be anything less than that. So the difference with an equation is you have one answer to an equation. You have infinitely many answers to an inequality. Okay, let's go ahead and try another one. Okay, so let's go ahead and try another one. And I just want to show you another issue that you might come into that might throw you, but it's not that big a deal. Sometimes they'll write it like this. Now, it's not a big deal here. The only thing you need to worry about is doing the steps. You could, like I said, get rid of the positive 2 and move it over. However, this makes me a little uncomfortable. I always like my variables on the left and like to solve it that way. So what I do, and I just want to show you what I would do, is here's the original one. I am just going to actually move them on the side that makes me more comfortable. So I just write my 3/4 x plus 2. But if you decide to move it, an equation, it doesn't matter. But if it's an inequality, you have to flip this, just remember. And then go ahead and solve. And this just makes me more comfortable. I have plenty of students, you guys know who you are, that can solve it either way. Me, we talked about this in class. It just makes me a little uneasy. So let's just go ahead and actually pause the video, unpause it, and give it a try. Let's go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, so we went ahead. The opposite of a positive 2 is a negative 2. Whatever we do on this side, we do on the other. This cancels. And go ahead. The opposite of multiplying by 3/4 is dividing or multiplying by its reciprocal. Super easy. 4/3. Whatever you do on that side, you do on the other. Just plop a little 1 under here. No biggie. So you end up with x is less than. This you cannot cross simplify, but the 3 and the 12 you can. And the 1's actually just stay 1. So 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, and so let me just write it. You can write this two ways. X is less than 16, or 16 is greater than x. Either way, it is correct. Okay, let's go ahead and do one more where we are flipping the inequality with this negative rule. So I just want to make sure You all understand this, so let's go ahead and let me go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead and we will have negative 2x plus 5 1/10 is less than or equal to negative 9/10. Go ahead and pause the video. See if you remember this first. Give it a try, and let's see if you get it correct. So go ahead and pause now, and then unpause when you're done. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get rid of our constant. Whatever we do on that side, we do on the other side. Let's go ahead and cancel that, and we'll bring this down. Negative 2x is less than or equal to. Now, like I said, a common error here is kids get a little jammed up. Just think of money. If you owe 90 cents and you owe $5.10, you would owe a lot of money. So go ahead and add those. It's a lot of negatives. It would be negative 6. Okay. So here's where it gets a little tricky. I know right off the bat, and I know most of you all students in my class, we talk about all the time. If you have a negative coefficient, you're going to end up flipping that inequality. So you see that from the very beginning. So that can help you eliminate, if it's multiple choice, some answer choices. But let's go ahead and look at it. The opposite of multiplying by negative 2 is dividing by negative 2. Whatever you do on that side, you do on the other side. This cancels. Let's just talk about the dividing by negative 2. A common error here is kids want to make it positive. Remember, with multiplying and dividing, this very last step, the sign does not change. It has nothing to do with its inverse. The inverse of multiplying by negative 2 is dividing by negative 2. The only reason that you change the sign up here with the 5 1/10 is subtraction or negative is the opposite of addition or positive numbers. Otherwise, when you get to that last step, you do not ever change the sign. So just to help you with that. But let's go ahead and finish. So we do need to, if your last step involves multiplying or dividing by a negative, you have to flip the inequality. So, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 6 divided by 2. So a negative 6 divided by negative 2 would give us 3. Or you could write it 3 is less than or equal to x. Either way is acceptable. Now go ahead and give your practice questions on Schoology a try, and good luck.